She pushed open my front door like she owned the place. Jennifer Smith, the head of my HOA, strolled into my home without so much as a knock. In her hand a papers claiming I owed a $15,000 fine I'd never heard of. Her message was simple: pay up, or lose everything. Jennifer believes she can take whatever she wants from people like me, but tonight, she's going to learn just how wrong she is. She's planning something, and so am I. Only one of us is going to be caught off guard. 3 years ago, I lost Rex in Afghanistan. He wasn't just a German Shepherd, he was a military working dog who absorbed the blast of an eye to shield 6 of us. He gave his life for ours. I buried him beneath the oak tree in my backyard, folded flag in hand, tears I never let anyone see. Now Jennifer stands in my driveway with a sheriff's deputy at her side, pointing at Rex's resting place as though it's a code violation. Unauthorized pet burial, she announces, waving her stack of paperwork. Health hazard. Either pay $15,000 or we remove the remains tomorrow. Watching this woman target my dog's grave as a bargaining chip ignites something deep inside me, something I've been fighting to keep buried since the war. This isn't about community regulations. This is personal. This is war. I thought I had finally found peace here, a neighborhood where Rex could rest and I could heal. I was wrong. Jennifer smiles at me the same way crooked officials overseas use to a fake warmth masking betrayal. Her blazer screams arrogance. Her tightly wound hair looks sharp enough to cut glass. She came prepared to fight while I'm still standing there in a stained shirt, blindsided. I steady my voice and tell her, "Ma'am, that's my partner you're talking about. He gave his life serving this country." The deputy shifts uncomfortably, avoiding my eyes. Judging from his posture, he's probably a vet too. But Jennifer lights up at my words, like she's been waiting for this moment. "Oh, I know all about your service record, Mr. Murphy. I've done my homework very thoroughly." The way she says it sends a chill down my spine. What business does an HOA president have digging into classified military records, and how did she even get access? There's a predator's glint in her eyes, like she smells blood in the water. The papers she hands me are too real. I've seen enough bureaucracy to recognize legitimate seals and signatures. Court-approved foreclosure petitions, complaints filed months ago while I was still updating my address after deployment. She's been building this case behind my back, watching me, documenting everything. Each violation she lists feels like a knife. Rex's grave, my security system, even my home business, every safeguard in my life twisted into evidence against me. She's not just enforcing rules, she's dismantling me piece by piece. "You've got 72 hours, she says, glancing at her watch as though she's setting a timer on a bomb. "Pay in full, or we move forward with excavation and foreclosure." The county has already signed off. The deputy hands me more documents, restraining orders, upcoming court dates, endless legal jargon. My hands shake as I turn the pages, every stamp and signature another nail in the coffin she's preparing for me. What makes it worse is how much she enjoys it. She isn't even pretending to feel conflicted about desecrating a soldier's grave. She's practically glowing. "I know this feels harsh," she says with syrupy condescension, "but it's necessary for the good of the community. I'm sure you understand, being a veteran and all." The way she says veteran sounds more like disease. She keeps glancing at Rex's grave marker with satisfaction, as though she's already picturing her landscaping improvements once he's gone. I try one last time. "Ma'am, Rex saved 6 soldiers' lives. He was laid to rest with honor. Surely we can work something out." Her smile widens, but there's no warmth in it. "Oh, I'm sure we can work something out, Mr. Murphy. I always do." Her fake sweetness is more poisonous than her threats. Even the deputy excuses himself quickly, clearly uncomfortable with her venom. When they're gone, I sit on the porch staring at Rex's marker. His brass plate reads, "Rex, military working dog, died protecting his pack. 3 days to find $15,000 I don't have, or watch strangers dig him up." But what lingers most in my mind is that folder Jennifer carried away. On the tab was my military service number, information she should never have had access to. There were other names too, other tabs I couldn't read. I call the only lawyer I can afford, Robert, the kind who buys bus bench ads. He doesn't sugarcoat it. 6 months to fight this, Best case, filing an injunction will cost you $8,000 up front, and no guarantee you'll win. $8,000 I don't have, time I don't have. What's her angle? Why is a suburban HOA president coming after a broke vet and his buried dog with this much firepower? My cybersecurity gigs barely cover rent, let alone this kind of legal war. As the sun sets behind Rex's grave, I find myself talking to him the way I used to during the rough nights overseas. What do you think, boy? She's got us pinned down, the system's rigged, and I'm running out of time. If Rex were here, he'd probably go straight for Jennifer's ankle. He always had better instincts than me. I thought this place was safe. I thought the system would protect people like us. I was wrong, and as Jennifer walked away earlier, I saw it clearly in the thick manila folder marked with my service number, classified information, in her hands. That means one thing. It's time to go on the offensive. Midnight finds me standing outside the HOA office building, feeling like a soldier back on a mission. Beige brick, perfect landscaping, every detail crafted to look harmless. But I know better. This is enemy headquarters, and inside are the answers I need to protect Rex. The motion sensor light sweeps the parking lot every half minute. The back door is secured by nothing more than an old deadbolt. After years of breaching insurgent safe houses, a lock like this is child's play. I'm inside in 2 minutes. The hall reeks of carpet cleaner and broken promises. Jennifer's office sits at the end, her name gleaming on a brass plate that probably cost more than my month's groceries. The door isn't even locked. She doesn't expect resistance. That's her mistake. I step in Sadia and everything goes sideways. Footsteps echo behind me. A flashlight beam slices through the dark. I brace for the headline. Unstable veteran caught breaking into HOA office. Then a familiar voice calls out, Logan Murphy, what the hell are you doing here? Mike Clark. My heart jolts as my old battle buddy from Kandahar steps into the doorway. I am now wearing a police uniform. We saved each other's lives more times than I can count, and here he is, staring at me like I've lost my mind, which, maybe I have. Mike, I whisper, relief flooding me. Thank God it's you. I need to know what Jennifer Smith has on me. She's got my classified records, and she's threatening to dig up Rex. Mike holsters his weapon and shuts the door. That tells me everything. He's still on my side. You're breaking into offices now? This how you handle civilian problems? He mutters. But he doesn't call for backup. He doesn't cuff me. That's Mikey, always a steady one. The thinker. Which is probably why he made detective while I'm scraping by with freelance security gigs. Help me search, I tell him, already heading for Jennifer's desk. Something about this foreclosure doesn't add up. He sighs like a man who knows he'll regret this, but he starts pulling folders from cabinets anyway. You know I could lose my badge for this, he mutters. But his hands don't stop moving. Classic Mikey grumbling, but always in the fight when it matters. We use our phones for light, the two of us moving in sync the way we did overseas. Different battlefield, same muscle memory. It's like we never left Afghanistan. Then Mike freezes, eyes locked on a thick folder he's pulled from the cabinet. Logan, a broken bar. You need to see this. The label reads Veterans Project. Multiple tabs stick out the top. Inside, detailed dossiers on veteran homeowners in our neighborhood, deployment schedules, PTSD diagnoses, financial records, family status, everything Jennifer would need to exploit their weakest points. I flipped through the pages, recognizing names. Williams, deployed in Syria. Patterson, mid-divorce. Thompson, behind on his mortgage. Every one of them is a veteran. Every one of them is being stalked and squeezed. The precision makes my stomach turn. This isn't random harassment. It's a systematic campaign. How the hell does she have classified records? Mike mutters, rifling deeper. We both know the answer. Money. The kind of money that buys access where it doesn't belong. Jennifer hasn't missed a thing. Doctor appointments, deployment orders, even emergency contacts. She's been cataloging us with obsessive detail. Then the alarm screams to life. A shrill siren cuts through the silence, and Mike and I lock eyes like we're back on the raid. Motion sensors, he says quickly, and cameras. She's been watching us the whole time. We scramble. Mike scoops up a handful of key files, slipping them under his jacket, while I snap rapid-fire photos with my phone. Old habits, a document and move. His radio crackles. Dispatch reporting a break-in at the HOA office. This is Clark. Mike answers. Voice calm and steady. I'm on site. False alarm. Cat probably set it off. Everything's secure. The line goes quiet, then clears him. He lowers the radio, and I can see it in his face. He just lied to his department for me. Guess we're both criminals now, I whisper. We replace the files, though not all of them, then head for the door. Mike nods toward the blinking red light of a camera. She'll know someone was here. I'll tell her traffic delayed my response. Won't fool her for long. On my way out, something behind Jennifer's monitor catches my eye. A folder stuffed with clipped obituaries and memorial write-ups. Not just for veterans, it's specifically for their dogs. Canine units, military working dogs, even civilian pets tied to soldiers. Mike whistles low when he sees it. Who the hell collects dead dog obits? I don't answer, because buried in that stack is a notice about another Riksa military dog killed in Afghanistan by an Id. Not mine, a different one. Same name. Why is she collecting this? Whatever her obsession is, Jennifer just escalated this to a whole new level. She wants war? Fine, but she slipped up. By showing me that folder, she revealed her entire target list. Williams, Patterson, Thompson, and 3 others. 6 families total. The question is, will they believe me when I tell them, or will they think the combat finally scrambled my brain? Williams answers his door like he's already expecting trouble. The man looks worn down, like he's been in a fight he can't win. Murphy, right? From Oak Street? He asks. I nod. Yeah, I've been dealing with Jennifer too. He exhales, bitter. That HOA witch has been all over me. What's your angle? Straight shooter. I respect that. I show him the photos from Jennifer's files. His own life reduced to bullet points. His eyes widen as he scans deployment dates listed down to the day. How did she get this? He whispers, voice trembling with disbelief. At Patterson's place. His wife answers the door. The strain is visible in her face before she says a word. If you're here about the violations, we're already fighting them in court, she insists. Her voice lacks conviction. It sounds like she's already lost. When I explain the truth, Patterson himself joins us. His reaction mirrors mine exactly. Shock, rage, then cold, calculating fury. 6 families, he mutters, studying the list. All vets, each with a weak spot. By midday, I've gathered everyone in my living room. 6 families, veterans and spouses, shoulders heavy with frustration. Thompson's teenage son keeps glancing out the window at Rex's grave marker, like he's trying to comprehend what kind of person threatens a soldier's dog. At first, the room is cautious. No one wants to sound paranoid, but as we share stories, the pattern becomes undeniable. Jennifer's been playing each of us like pieces on a chessboard. Williams cited for a trailer hitch, Patterson for security lights, Thompson written up for lawn care he physically can't manage because of his injuries. Every strike is surgical, designed to break us down. She's got inside information, Patterson's wife finally says. Medical records, financial problems, deployments. Someone's feeding her intel. The room goes silent. Everyone knows what it means when classified data surfaces outside secure channels. There's a leak or Jennifer is connected to someone powerful. Either way, this isn't an HOA dispute, it's psychological warfare. Mike clears his throat. He's been working his contacts and just got word. Jennifer's called an emergency home meeting tonight. Officially, it's to address security threats from unstable residents. Unofficially, she's getting ready to crush us before we can organize. We should all go, Williams suggests. Show a united front. Let the community see we're not the problem. Everyone agrees. Tactically, it makes sense, but my gut twists. This has all the markings of another ambush. The community center is packed when we arrive. Way more people than a standard meeting. Jennifer stacked the deck, filling the room with supporters. At the front, she stands flanked by 3 men in suits of private security, judging by their stance and scanning eyes. She's got her concerned citizen mask on, but her eyes give her away. She's savoring this. Ladies and gentlemen, she begins, her voice pitched with false authority. We're here to address growing security concerns. Recently, our HOA has suffered break-ins and harassment from individuals with documented violent histories. She locks eyes with our group when she says documented. Clever, using our military backgrounds as proof we're dangerous. The crowd murmurs, shifting uneasily. Before we've even spoken, she's poisoned the well. Her security positions themselves between us and the rest of the room, a wall of muscle making it crystal clear who's being labeled the threat. These individuals have formed a coordinated group to intimidate HOA officials and endanger our neighborhood. Jennifer continues smoothly. For everyone's protection, I've hired professionals to ensure tonight remains peaceful. Translation: we're the villains, and she's the hero keeping everyone safe. Williams tries to stand and respond, but one of her security men steps forward, not hostile, but firm. Please stay seated during the presentation, sir. The tone is polite, but the warning is obvious. We're boxed in, outnumbered, outflanked, and now, Jennifer's trying to strip away the one thing we still had left: our reputations. The meeting shifts into a referendum. Progress and property values versus problem residents. To the uninformed, it sounds like an easy choice. And the neighborhood? It splits right down the middle. Jennifer just won another battle. Jennifer seizes control of the narrative before we can even open our mouths. The meeting ends in disaster, and as I trudge back home, the weight of defeat pressing on my shoulders, I notice Mrs. Henderson waiting near her mailbox. She's one of the last people on this street who still treats me like a neighbor instead of a loaded gun. She glances around nervously before leaning closer. "Logan," she whispers, "I saw something the other night I haven't been able to shake. Jennifer was in your backyard by Rex's grave. She had a flashlight and a bag. Buried something, I think. She didn't know I was watching." The thought makes my stomach twist. What is Jennifer hiding on my own property? A few days later, the police station's conference room is transformed into a community tribunal. That alone tells me how far Jennifer's influence reaches, as she can bend official resources to serve her personal war. The room is crammed with residents, HOA board members I barely recognize, and Jennifer front and center, playing prosecutor. Beside her sit polished men in suits, radiating confidence, briefcases at the ready. Development sharks. Captain Morrison, a weary-looking man who clearly wishes he were dealing with actual criminals instead of HOA drama, opens the meeting. "We're here to address allegations of criminal activity and safety concerns," he announces. Translation: Jennifer's pulled strings high enough to frame this entire conflict on her terms. Jennifer rises first, of course. "Captain Morrison, fellow residents," she begins, her voice soaked in false authority, "we've documented a series of crimes: break-ins, theft of official records, and organized intimidation committed by individuals with violent pasts." Her eyes lock on me for the last part. That's when I make my mistake. I stand up, manila folder in hand, thinking truth will matter here. "Those documents prove you've been targeting veteran families using classified information," I say, laying out photos of deployment schedules, medical records, and financial data. "This isn't about lawn care, it's psychological warfare." For 5 seconds, silence hangs heavy. Then Jennifer laughs. Not a fake giggly, real, mocking laughter. "Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it yourself. Mr. Murphy just confessed to burglary and theft of confidential records. He thinks his military history excuses felony crimes." Captain Morrison's face hardens. "Regardless of what's inside those files, Mr. Murphy, you obtained them illegally. You're asking us to excuse criminal behavior because you don't like what the documents reveal." The ground shifts beneath me. The crowd's expressions change. Facts don't matter here, only optics. Then the development rep stands, perfectly tailored and rehearsed. "If I may," he says smoothly, unveiling glossy charts and architectural renderings, "our expansion will raise property values 20 to 30%, create jobs, and improve schools." The murmurs start. My neighbors aren't interested in Jennifer's methods, they're calculating their future tax benefits. When Williams tries to protest, the rep delivers the knife with a smile. "No one will be forced to sell, but improvements require community participation. Those who resist often find their property values falling behind." Translation: "Sell now or we'll squeeze you out." Jennifer rises again to finish me off. Change is difficult, especially for those struggling with service-related issues, she says with mock sympathy. But personal problems can't be allowed to block progress for the entire neighborhood. She frames us as entitled, unstable obstacles to prosperity. And it works. The community fractures a long predictable line as a longtime residents versus newcomers chasing profit. Jennifer owns the room. When I walk out, it feels like I've been outflanked by a professional strategist. Mike catches me in the parking lot, glancing around before speaking. Logan, there's something you need to know. State investigators pulled Jennifer's records. Her daughter Emma, she didn't die in a car crash 3 years ago. She died 7 years ago. Cancer. Jennifer's been lying about her child's death. The cell they dumped me in reeks of disinfectant and despair. The news blares from a TV behind bulletproof glass. The headline: Local veteran arrested for burglary and harassment tied to HOA dispute. They flash my 10-year-old military ID photo next to footage of Jennifer outside the station, tears in her eyes, playing the victim. She's everywhere now, spinning the story that veterans like me are unstable threats to decent, peaceful families. I'm painted as a bomb that finally went off. By the time Mike shows up for visiting hours, I've watched the segment 4 times. He sits down across the glass, his face heavy with bad news. You look like hell, he says. Want the good news or the bad? I tell him to hit me with the bad first. At least that way I won't be disappointed. He sighs. Jennifer called another emergency home meeting after your arrest. Used your charges to push through the sale to the developers. The vote passed 8-2. Only Williams and Mrs. Henderson stood against it. Mike slides a packet through the slot in the partition. I glance down at the legal document and feel my chest tighten. Every single property in our subdivision is now subject to a mandatory sale within 48 hours. If residents don't take the developer's offer, the HOA has authority to push it through using eminent domain. It hits me hard. Jennifer has twisted my arrest into leverage against the entire neighborhood. I am the example she's using to prove that resisting development is reckless, that keeping holdouts like me around attracts unstable veterans who endanger everyone else. Mike confirms it with a grim nod. The news is calling it the Murphy effect. Property values drop when so-called problem residents resist community improvement. That's the spin they're running with. But then his voice lowers, and a spark of hope breaks through his expression. Here's the part Jennifer doesn't know. The state investigators have been watching her for weeks. Her real name isn't Jennifer Smith, it's Jennifer Walsh. She's wanted in 3 states for veteran targeting real estate scams. He slides me a printout. Same face, different aliases, a string of charges trailing behind her. She's been pulling this con for years, hunting veteran-heavy neighborhoods, bleeding them dry, then moving on before the law catches up. The investigators need someone on the inside, someone who's been documenting her methods from day one, which means me. The bail hearing comes faster than expected, a clear sign the state has real weight behind this. Jennifer strolls in with her lawyer, clearly expecting to keep me locked up until the 48-hour deadline expires. But when Mike testifies about the federal case and my cooperation, the judge sees me differently. Bail is set at $5,000. The judge announces, defendant released on his own recognizance, pending investigation. Stepping out of the courthouse feels like surfacing from underwater only to find the world above just as hostile. The morning paper greets me with a headline: Veteran extremist released despite safety concerns. Neighbors are quoted saying they're relieved about the forced sale. They think getting rid of problem elements is progress. Jennifer's propaganda campaign hasn't slowed its snowballing. Mike drives me home, laying out the plan. The feds need everything: your photos, recordings, documents. With your evidence combined with her prior fraud cases, it should be enough to bury her for good. For the first time, I start to believe we might actually win this war. But then we pull into my driveway, and the world tilts again. Rex's grave has been dug up, the soil is freshly turned, the hole carved with deliberate care. The brass marker lies neatly set aside. Whoever did this wasn't desecrating it, they were searching, and they found something. Rex's remains are gone. This wasn't Jennifer, I mutter. She would have staged it for the cameras. There's a broken bar. This was surgical. Mike crouches by the site, scanning details with his practiced cop's eye. They knew exactly where to dig. Inside, I find other signs. Subtle marks from metal detectors in the yard. Small test holes filled back in. Even my security system shows entries during the past 2 days, but the alarms were never tripped. Whoever came through here was trained, methodical. This isn't just Jennifer's scam anymore. Something bigger is moving under the surface. Seeing Rex's grave empty feels like a violation deeper than any of Jennifer's games. Not just property harassment, this cuts into memory, grief, and loyalty. But if Jennifer or Walsh, or whatever name she hides behind, wants a war, she just gave me no choice but to fight back. Her mistake is the ticking clock. She set a 48-hour deadline for the neighborhood to cave. Pressure works both ways. I still have her target list. And now I've got less than 2 days to rally every veteran and homeowner she's been bleeding dry. Williams picks up on the first ring. His voice frazzled. Logan, thank God you're out. The neighborhood's losing it. Half the people are packing up. The other half are talking about barricades. Listen carefully. I tell him, we can stop this, but everyone has to file counterclaims at the same time. Fraud charges, harassment suits. Every violation she's staged, we hit her from all sides. If enough of us do it together, her 48-hour timeline collapses under legal red tape. You're talking about suing the HOA? He asks, doubt heavy in his tone. Most of us can't afford that. That's where the state comes in. They'll cover legal support if you agree to cooperate with the federal case. Patterson's tougher to convince. His wife wants to take the payout and run, but I don't back down. She won't stop here. If we don't fight, she'll just pack up and hit the next veteran-heavy neighborhood. Do you really want to see this happen to someone else's family? By midday, I've got 6 veteran households and 3 other fed-up homeowners on board. 9 coordinated lawsuits, filed within an hour of each other. Fraud, harassment, illegal seizure. The courthouse hasn't seen a wave of legal firepower like this since the chemical plant disaster decades ago. By afternoon, Jennifer's grand timeline collapses. Every property transfer is frozen pending investigation. Her development lawyer storms into the courthouse demanding expedited hearings, but the judge is clear. Fraud allegations require full review. Her 48-hour deadline is dead. And that's when Jennifer shows her real desperation. Instead of spreading her resources, she zeroes in on me. At 6 sharp, I get a certified letter. A new stack of HOA violations. This time directed solely at my house. Fines totaling $25,000. A foreclosure clock set for 24 hours. She's betting that if she crushes me publicly, the others will cave. The violations Jennifer slapped me with are nothing short of twisted creativity. She lists Rex's burial as an unauthorized grave without permits, calls it improper disposal of biological remains, and even claims my memorial marker breaks HOA design codes. She's weaponizing my grief, turning the resting place of my service dog into grounds for financial ruin. But there's one thing she doesn't realize: the desecrated grave actually strengthens my case. Mike shows up within the hour, camera in hand, stringing crime scene tape around the site. If someone professionally dug this up while you were behind bars, he says, snapping photos, that's destruction of evidence in an active federal case. We need to lock this down before Jennifer twists it into something else. Walking the perimeter with him, I noticed details I missed earlier. The dig isn't sloppy vandalism, it's deliberate, precisely like they were searching for something beneath Rex, not just removing him. The soil is deeper than it should be, almost as if Rex's grave had been hiding something. Then the realization slams into me. My father's medals. Not all of them are in the basement like I'd convinced myself. Years ago, when PTSD had me spiraling, I buried the most precious pieces in my grandfather's Medal of Honor and several Purple Hearts beneath Rex. I thought burying them with him would keep them safe, away from my own destructive impulses. Now both Rex and my family's military legacy are gone. I show Mike photos of the collection on my phone, my voice tight. This wasn't Jennifer. Whoever did this was after those medals. The Medal of Honor alone is worth 6 figures to private collectors. Mike's face hardens. We're calling the feds. Right now. Suddenly, Jennifer's frantic push to foreclose in 24 hours makes perfect sense. She needs me out before investigators connect her operation to the theft. Because this isn't just HOA fraud anymore. It's tied to something much darker. A ring stealing military artifacts from veteran families. The property scams. The obituary files, the targeting of grieving vets, it's all been covered. The bigger prize was always the legacy items we carry in our homes. metals and memorabilia that can vanish into the black market. That night, my house transforms into a command post. State investigators, federal agents, digital forensic experts, they're all here, setting up surveillance like a scene out of a crime thriller. Jennifer has been circling the neighborhood, trying to look cautious, but her paranoia only guarantees she'll fall into the net. Agent Morrison, the lead, lays it out clearly. She's going to use the home master key to enter, expecting an empty house where she can plant evidence to justify foreclosure. Instead, she's going to walk into her own indictment. The walls of my living room are plastered with evidence of Jennifer's fraud trail, her systematic targeting of veterans, her ties to the artifact theft ring. Every move she's made has been cataloged and displayed. Near midnight, the signal comes through. Jennifer is approaching on foot, flashlight in hand, gloves pulled tight, a large bag slung over her shoulder. Through the window, I watch her silhouette creep toward the door. She fumbles with the lock, muttering in frustration when the key doesn't turn smoothly. Finally, the latch clicks open. She steps inside, rehearsing her lies aloud as something about hazardous material, urgent evacuations, manufactured violations. Then she rounds the corner and freezes. Her bag dangles midair as her eyes widen at the sight of a living room full of